What's up, guys? Welcome to the Contents of This Package show. We're in episode 8. Good to see you guys. Good to be making new episodes, man. We just released episode a few days ago, episode 7, covering our latest pack before this newest one, the Legacy Smite pack. Make sure you guys go over to soulsurplus.com to check that out. But today, in episode 8, we are covering our latest sample pack entitled Bliss, which was executive produced by the homie Joel McNeil, who joins me today. Joel, what's good, man?
Yo, what's going on, everybody?
Yeah, man. So we were kind of joking before we got on, but sometimes at the end of the week, you got to bring the big cannons out. You know what I'm saying? To finish out a week, man. So
right.
We got Joel McNeil, aka the big gun. You know what I'm saying? coming through for the end of the week, man. I'm really excited for the folks to hear this new pack, man.
Yeah, me too. Hopefully it'll go over well. I think it will.
Yeah. Though. Word. So like stylistically, obviously we pretty much stay in the pocket from a soul standpoint. But but where were you going in this particular pack? I had the opportunity of actually doing the artwork this time around too, and I was you sent me a couple of the loops that you had already accomplished, and I was like, oh, I already know where I'm going to go with this. So the cover kind of depicts good looking sensual woman or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But kind of calling back to that old vintage, like late 60s vibe, you know what I'm saying? And I kind of felt like through the joints that you sent me, it kind of had that vibe of soul, but like really like soulful R&B, what I like to think that is sound that women especially like love,
Yeah, so definitely, like you said earlier, we always have soul embedded in everything we do, but with this, I kind of started off with the first comp that I made, the first loop that I made gave me like that feeling of just joy and happiness, and with that soulful, the early 70s, late 60s soulful vibes. So that's right. What kind of gave me the name of Bliss as the title for the pack. And yeah, it just gives you that feel like almost sort of R&B-ish, modern R&B-ish, but a lot of retro, like soul, almost black exploitation type stuff mixed in with it. So it's kind of like a mashup of different genres. And I really think people are going to appreciate it.
Yeah, I think that might have been the first thing I said to you. I was like, I think I know I'm going to go with the art direction. It's going to be the woman with like the honey on the lips type of thing. You know what I'm saying? And I kind of, went away from that because I don't want to be wilding and, sometimes people misinterpret like, what stuff means. Although, I mean, a lot of those old, like, really well-known covers, I mean, they're super fire, like especially them Ohio Player covers. Yeah, those covers was drawing. You know what I'm saying? but yeah, man, it was direction wise, I really appreciated the direction that you were going sonically, and I do think that this is going to be one of those packs that translates really well to producers who produce more on the modern R&B side. I think the sounds that they could get from this, they could definitely put to good use, man.
Yeah, for sure.
So like, as far as when you went to the place of like late 60s, especially, I kind of felt like you had a nice little hybrid sound. I felt like there was like a lot of, you went to the guitar a lot with this pack. And I was like, look at Joel busting out the guitar heavy on this pack. Cause normally like when you do guitars, it's kind of more sprinkled and it's kind of like in the background tucked. But on this one, it was like very, very much at the forefront. Was that on purpose? And like, what was your thought process and like letting the guitar kind of be at the front?
Yeah, I think so. With the themes we just talked about, I feel as though guitar kind of it helps get that point across a little bit easier than per se a synth or a piano or something like that. Of course, obviously in that time period, I feel as though a lot of people were using guitar. They weren't using the same effects that we may use now as heavily, but guitar, gives you that smooth, soulful feeling always, when you hear it. if it's, playing that genre. And yeah, I felt as though guitar helped me get those ideas across easier, and then I'd be able to fill the gaps with the with the keys versus doing it the opposite way.
Got you. What brand of guitar are you using, by the way? Because I actually don't know.
It's funny. It's actually Smythe's old guitar, but he gave us it's a Squire, so it's a Fender. What is it? A Jagmaster, I think. Yeah, Jagmaster. So yeah, it's an OG Smythe guitar, and still putting in work.
Yeah, man. Like 3 weeks ago, we put out Original Motion Picture, and that sound was kind of that old Euro soundtrack vibe from the late 60s, really more late 60s than 70s. And I kind of felt like Bliss kind of falls in that same category a bit, just a little more soulful. And actually, and Original Motion Picture was really dark, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It was definitely like a lot of minor chords on purpose because we were, I should say, I love to sample. I should say I used to love to sample all those old Euro soundtracks, man. They were super great. Guys like Ennio Morricone and all those guys. I might be saying his name wrong, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like the old spaghetti Western sound, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
The same sound that you hear on Gnarls Barkley Crazy, you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people don't know that's an old spaghetti Western sample, you know what I'm saying? That's not they didn't play that live, they sampled that, so but that genre has like you'd be hard pressed to hear that genre ever leave producers' libraries, you know what I'm saying? It just is translated so well over time. But with Bliss, fast forward into Bliss that dropped this week or this weekend, I guess we could say, I felt like you were intentionally going just a tad brighter than that, and also maybe fast forwarding a couple more years more, maybe reflecting more of like mid 70s going closer into like late 70s stylistically.
Yeah, it's kind of, you hit the nail right on the head. So I think with the term Bliss, it definitely has some brighter tones on there, some happier things, a lot more major chords. It's definitely still has a mellow aspect to it, but it's got some major chords, some happier progressions, and yes, it definitely has a feel of that time period, but with some happier sounding things and some brighter sounding sounds in there.
Right. Yeah, a lot of our stuff tends to be more on the minor side. I mean, that's what producers tend to like a lot more.
Yeah, for sure.
I think when we dip too much in the major side, I kind of feel like, I don't know if guys really know how to sample that as well. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Or I should say the folks that we kind of cater our stuff to, it seems like they're more on the minor side when it comes to sampling. Do you think like maybe it might be possible for us to ever get to a place where we do make a sample pack that's like all major? Because I was thinking maybe like real soon, and I was thinking maybe it's something that you and I could tackle before the summer's over, but more one of those packs that kind of revolves around like that Jackson 5 sound, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like that early, like very early 70s, all that stuff is all major key, you know what I'm saying? And I don't think there's a lot of that around to sample from, but I think that might be something that we could do, man.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's a space for that in music, obviously, but right now the sound is kind of like, it's really dark, with hip hop and R&B and even pop. Like the whole emo thing is big now. So the dark progressions and textures is really, really popular. So I think, and then stuff is always going to change. So there's going to be a time where it comes back around and things are going to start getting more brighter. Pop's going to sound more like pop, and hip hop will do the same. So
right. Yeah, nowadays you can't even really, they're kind of the same thing for real.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's all kind of like getting blended together right now.
Would you compare this new pack to anything that we've done in the past, like stylistically, like anything that comes back to memory? Because when I was listening to it, I kind of like I was thinking about Aura Neo, and then there was another pack that we did. But yeah, those two they were kind of more on like the modern R&B side, but were also a tad brighter than our stuff. But yeah, we're I guess you can't remember.
Yeah, nothing off the top. I'm sure there's a mixture of packs out there that it reflects, but nothing I could think of off the top. It was all pretty fresh in the making. So
instruments wise, where we already talked about the guitar that's prominent on here, from a keys standpoint, what were you relying on heavy with this particular drop?
So there's not too many synths in this pack. There's a lot of Rhodes, few pianos, some Mellotron, but yeah, there's not too much synth. It's really just bass, keys, guitar, and then maybe one or two synths here and there. And some like flute stuff, string stuff, a lot of the organic textures on this pack. So it's not really electronic.
Yeah, one of the things that I was going to, you were kind of like laughing at me. I think it was you that was laughing at me one day when we were listening to Original Motion Picture. You were like, "Bro, is that Clarinet?"
Oh yeah,
and I think that was like one of the instruments that we hadn't really. I don't think we've done Clarinet.
Nah, I don't think so.
Yeah, man. So it's nice to kind of go in that direction. I love like boards like Mellotron and what they bring to the table, especially when it comes to like the woodwind section. I mean, if you can really sit down with Mellotron, messing around with parameters and then throwing some reverb on it, you can kind of get away with what almost comes across as a real flute. I mean, it's a sample of a flute, but
yeah, it's the closest thing I've found, I think, to when it comes to the flute sounds, at least it's like the closest sounding to a real flute that I've played on a keyboard or a plug-in or anything like that.
And are you playing bass on this one too, or did you hand that off to John?
Yeah, I had bass. I play bass on pretty much all the tracks. There's maybe a few, maybe one. Yeah, literally about one synth bass track, but yeah, lay bass. Nothing too complicated, just enough, to get that texture and the feel across.
Now you just recently, well, you didn't just put me onto Mellotron, but to Keyscape. But recently I finally took the plunge and got that John, because I'm working on way too much music not to have it now. And I know you were probably definitely using Keyscape a little bit in this new pack, because I definitely heard some pianos and stuff.
Oh yeah, definitely.
For when you're doing piano, I know there's a myriad of pianos that you could choose from, but do you have like a go-to in Keyscape that you tend to like to use more than not?
Yeah, I think it's one of the upright ones. It's like an older sounding one, a little forget what it's called exactly, but it's the upright open pianos on there. I love those, kind of what I use every time, just about.
Yeah, I try not to. I don't like when you guys give away everything, Smythe and I, we were recently even talking about how, like, you ever watch like a really well-known producer or filmmaker do a master class, and it's just like, fam, I have no idea you know what they're talking about, but you can't reproduce like what they're saying. But with the pianos and stuff like that, they give such a rich sound, and I mean, honestly, you can't really tell. That is the first VST, myself specifically. I really honestly can't tell when you're not playing a real piano and when you're playing that VST, man. It's pretty crazy.
It's incredible.
Looking forward to you guys hearing this new pack. This wasn't like a super long episode. Joel is really swamped with a lot of work. We're not just working on sample pack stuff. Currently, we're working on some other things too. So we're not going to hold him up. But Joel, appreciate you hopping on
no problem.
For this latest episode, man. Yeah. And make sure you guys head over to soulsurplus.com. Check out the Bliss sample pack. as well as some of our most recent sample packs. And looking forward to you guys also really soon being able to see, we're going to start rolling out some of our collections. So appreciate you guys being in tune, and we'll catch you next time.
Later.